Good afternoon. My name is Timothy Munson, and I am the interim Chief Financial Officer for Glynn County. And today we are going to have a public hearing on the adoption of the 2020 millage rates. This is our second public hearing, and there will be a third public hearing on August 20th at 6 p.m. The Georgia Taxpayer Bill of Rights was passed in 1999 and effective in 2000. The intent was to prevent an indirect tax increase that results from increases to values of existing properties due to inflation. That Taxpayer Bill of Rights required that we advertise a property tax increase and hold 3 public hearings if property taxes are increasing due to inflation and the millage rate is not being rolled back to offset those increases. A little bit about a timeline on when all of this takes place. Throughout the year, our tax assessor's office does property reassessments. In January of each year, the county starts working on the budget, and that work happens between January and May. During that time, we determine what our needs are, what expenditures that we're going to have, and what revenues we need in order to balance the budget. In May, the tax assessor's office provides us with an estimated growth and inflation report of the tax digest, and we estimate property tax revenue at that time based on the report. That estimation is used to balance our budget. In June, the new budget is adopted by the Board of Commissioners with an anticipated millage rate set based on the calculation done during the budget. July 1st, a new fiscal year begins, and we begin using the new budget. Around the middle to end of July, we receive a completed property tax digest provided by the tax commissioner, and in August, we begin the millage rate adoption process. Here is an example of how we calculate the rollback rate for anyone that's interested in how that's calculated. But in general, we take the 2019 tax digest, add any reassessments of property, and then any other changes in the digest, which would be new construction and changes, demolitions, things like that. And that comes up to the 2020 digest. And then the rollback rate is calculated. So the proposed current millage rate is 4.863, which is the same rate that we have had last year. We are not proposing a millage rate increase. The rollback rate is 4.789. So what the rollback rate is it's the calculation of what our rate would be if we removed all of the inflationary tax digest increases. So all of these reassessments here, if they were removed, and that is what our rate would need to be to offset for that. So it comes up to a 1.55% increase. On a home valued at $250,000, the difference in the tax bill would be $6.66 if we adopted the proposed rate instead of the rollback rate. The total additional revenue to the Glynn County General Fund is approximately $375,000 to adopt the proposed millage rate versus the rollback rate. Very important, if you have the Scarlett Williams homestead exemption and your property's assessed value has not changed during the year due to property improvements, your tax bill for the county's portion will remain the same as last year. It will not change. If you do not have the Scarlett Williams homestead exemption and your property's assessed value has increased due to property improvements or reappraisal, even though the millage rate is the same as last year, your tax bill will be slightly higher due to the increased value of your home. For our budget, 73% of our revenue comes from taxes. And of those taxes, 59% of that is from property taxes. What is a millage rate? The millage rate is the tax rate used to calculate property tax. Millage rates are applied to the assessed value of your home, which is 40% of the fair market value. If you have a home that's worth $100,000, your assessed value would be $40,000. A tax rate of 1 mil equals $1 in tax liability per $1,000 of assessed value. So what all of that means and how you would calculate your tax bill. If your home fair market value was $150,000, your assessed value would be 40% of that, which would be $60,000. And if your district in the county had a millage rate of 6.033, you would divide 60,000 by 1,000 to come up with 60 and multiply that by 6.033 for a total of $361 in property taxes. This is a chart of the county's proposed millage rates. We have been discussing the M&O rate, which is this rate. This rate here funds our general fund, and it is for countywide services. And then depending what district you live in, you would have some other millage rates that apply to you for other services. All of these services are not provided countywide, therefore all districts in the county are not charged for them. So if you lived in District 2, you would have a total millage rate of 7.873, which would be the 4.863 M&O plus these other special service district rates. Just a note that this rate does not include the city taxes or the school board taxes. This is a history of the countywide M&O millage rate, which funds the general fund. This goes back for 40 years, and as you can see, last year and this year, we have the lowest rate that we've ever had at 4.863. A comparison of the M&O millage rates to surrounding counties. Glynn County is significantly lower than all of the surrounding counties around us. So this is our 4.863 general fund millage rate. That millage rate, the general fund M&O, covers countywide services, which includes public safety, including animal control, emergency management and search and rescue, sheriff's office, and detention center. Public works, including drainage, roads, traffic signs and signals, judiciary, courts, clerks, district attorney, and public defenders. General government, GIS, tax assessor, tax commissioner, county administration, and board of elections. Health and welfare services, which include mosquito control and appropriations to Gateway Behavioral Health, Civil Air Patrol, Board of Health, DFACS, and the Coastal Regional Commission. Culture and recreation, which includes running the libraries, sports facilities, participation recreation programs, and the county parks and park maintenance. And housing and development, which includes community development and regulatory engineering. The special service tax districts, which are outside of the 4.863 millage rate, and again, these are divided up based on what district you live in. Again, these total rates do not include school board or city tax. If you include the special service districts, Glynn County is still below all of the other surrounding counties in millage rates. So it is still one of the lowest millage rates in the state of Georgia. And we're significantly below most of these counties and pretty close to what McIntosh has. Again, this would be if you had all of the if you were in a district that had all of the special tax services. So the only one that applies to is Sea Island. They're the only ones that have all of the special tax service districts. The special service districts pay for public safety, including police protection, fire, EMS services, and additional Sea Island police protection. Capital projects and assets, including ambulance purchases, fire trucks, sheriff vehicles, drainage improvements, sidewalks, public works and recreation equipment, parks expansions, improvements, and IT upgrades. The total spending for the county, of our total spending, 45% is spent on public safety, 17% on general government, 12% on public works, 9% on judiciary, and so forth. For a home valued at $200,000, this is an example of your property tax. If you lived in District 3, you would pay $389 towards general fund M&O for the services that were listed out on that slide previously. $54 for EMS services, $147 for police, $39 for capital projects, and $166 for fire protection, for a total bill of $796 for county property tax. The Board of Education has a separate millage rate, which we are not in charge of, and that would be $12.93. And then if you live in the City of Brunswick, the City of Brunswick also has a millage rate, and that would be an additional amount as well. So you can look at what district you're in and estimate what your tax bill would be. So I will now open it up for any questions or public comments that anyone may have.
And Tamara, there's only the county manager in the room, so we don't have any public for this one.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I hope y'all have a great day.